Hello and welcome to Dickinson's Real Deal. On this show, I help members of the public get the very best price for their antiques and valuables. You get a choice. Sit down with one of our regular dealers. They're going to try and tempt you with a cash offer on the table today.
Maybe just a little more.
Do you know, I wake up in cold sweats with people saying, a little more. Can I have a little more? Can I have a little more?
Now, if I don't think that's enough money, I'm going to say no, don't accept it. Have a gamble. Place those same goods into the auction and hope to get a little bit more. Today, the show comes to you from Leighton Buzzard in Bedfordshire. There's a great crowd of people here. They've been queuing since early this morning. They want to walk away with cash in their pockets or gamble and go to auction, but either way, they want the real deal.
The doors to the dealer's den are open. First up is Andrea, who's pinning her hopes on Henry
Andrea,
with an
lovely to see
interesting
you.
collection of militaria.
What have we got here today?
Right, well, I've got these medals here from the First World War, a name tag,
Yep.
and a Princess Mary box.
Fantastic.
All of these were inside the box when I received it. It actually belonged to my mother-in-law,
Okay.
who'd inherited it more or less from her second husband. So it's got actually no sentimental value
Right.
on her side or my side, really.
Okay, so you presumably don't know very much about...
Not a great deal, no. There's a photograph in there, actually, of...
Let's have a look.
yes, this...
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
Isn't that sweet? Absolutely lovely.
I couldn't tell you which one it is, but
Okay.
one of those soldiers on there was the man who received all these medals during the war.
We'll start off here with the Princess Mary tin. Okay, now this was something that was sent out to all the troops at Christmas in 1914. If you were a smoker, you got the tin with the tobacco, the cigarettes, the tinder lighter, and obviously you get the Christmas card, okay?
Oh, yes.
If you were a non-smoker, you'd get antacid tablets and you'd also get a little pencil with some writing paper. Sadly, most of these, you find, have lost their original contents, as has this. But what I like about this box is the condition of it. The condition is really top-notch. So then we go on to the medals. Standard issue First World War medals. Again, in lovely condition. It's a shame we haven't got the ribbons for these two, but that's not the end of the world, purely and simply because we can replace them. And again, it's lovely, we've got his dog tags there.
Yes.
So this indicates that he survived the war. This is a nice little lot, something I'm very, very passionate about. I love my medals. So let's see what we can do, shall we?
Right.
Okay. I'm going to offer you 20, 40, 60, £80. How does that seem?
No.
No? Okay. I'll go to 100, 120. How does that seem? We're getting warm?
A bit nearer.
A bit nearer.
A bit nearer, possibly.
I don't like the sound of that, a bit nearer. Another 20 takes us to 140. So, do you want me to tempt you a little bit more?
Yes.
Okay. So, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to round it up to £150.
That's
So
fine.
how does that seem?
Yep, that's fine with me. Yes, I'll
Okay.
accept that. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much
Thank
indeed.
you.
What a great deal for Andrea. Tim paid over the odds, but will he still be able to make a profit? We'll find out later. It's our first visit to Tim's
Hello,
table,
Claire.
and he's trying to
Hello,
stamp
Fred.
his
Nice to
claim
meet
on
you.
a lovely little item.
Now, you've brought along a stamp case. Can you tell me a little bit? Is it yours, Claire, or is it yours, Fred?
No, it's my dad's.
It was mine. It was my granddad's. A lot of the history I don't really know about it. It's really we acquired it when we sort of emptied the house out after they sort of passed on, and it's just been sitting at home for a long time, and It's of no use to us at all, really.
Well, it's so small, isn't it?
That's no use today.
No, not really. Well, you could get a stamp on it today, Claire.
Do you think?
Absolutely. If I had one on me, I'd demonstrate it to you. Yeah. So you don't know anything about when it was made or anything like that?
Not really, no.
Not really. Let me see if I can date it for you. So it's silver. It's quite pretty. And if you can see that there's the hallmark there. And it's Birmingham. 1909, I think it is. So, Edwardian.
Okay.
So, Edwardian is Edward VII. Quite a nice thing. They did reproduce them. So, this isn't a reproduction, but why I say that they reproduced them is that it sort of affected the market in them a little bit because they're quite inexpensive to reproduce.
Okay.
So it sort of flooded the market and it brought down the price of the original ones.
Okay.
So I hope you haven't got great expectations today.
No, it would just be nice for it to go to somebody that appreciates things like that or collects them, because to us they have no value sentimentally. So
£20.
No, I don't think
no,
so.
I don't know.
25, Claire.
I still think we could squeeze a little bit more.
What about if I took that away and put that there? 30.
Maybe just a little more.
Do you know, I wake up in cold sweats with people saying, a little more. Can I have a little more? Can I have a little more? Recurring nightmare it is. Can I have a little more? I've got this woman in my background. Is she part of your crew as well?
She is, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I thought
is.
she
Yeah,
was.
we bought her for backup.
Well, £35. Done.
I think that's very fair, don't you?
We don't want him to have any more cold sweats.
No,
No, I
no.
don't want any more cold sweats.
I think that's lovely, and it'll go to a good home.
Good. So have we got a deal?
We have got a
That's
deal.
lovely. Thank you very much,
Thank
Claire.
you.
Thank you, Tim.
Fred. Thank you.
Fred and Claire certainly drove a hard bargain. Hopefully Tim won't be waking up in a cold sweat tonight. For our next deal, David and auctioneer William Rouse are listening in at Corrie's table, where it's story time.
I love
and
this
Ken's
book.
turned up with an
Can you tell me
absolute
anything about
classic.
It comes out of Mentmore Towers, Earl Rosebery's estate. My wife's aunt was head housekeeper there, and in the 60s they had a clear out. So she was presented with this, and it's been in the family ever since. My wife just wished to sell it because at the moment we've downsized house-wise and there's not the room.
Well, let's have a look at the book itself. It's beautiful. It's bound in vellum, which is calf skin, and wonderful gilded decoration. And it is stories from Hans Andersen. And here we have, with illustrations by Edmund Dulac. Two great names. Dulac was a wonderful illustrator in the early 1900s, late 19th century, early 1900s, and he was a sort of forerunner of the best of children's illustrations. But this is not a children's book. This is a very important book. So let's open it, and you've got the wonderful Art Nouveau design. I'm going to open it again, and here we have this edition, deluxe. So it's a deluxe edition, is limited to 750 copies, of which this is number 683, and there's the artist's signature, Edmund Dulac. So, rare book, and we know exactly which number it is. Beautiful, thick pages, and here we have one of the illustrations. This is the Princess and the Pea, and there she is sitting on a pile of mattresses so that she could get a night's sleep, because she was so aristocratic and so genteel, even a pea stopped her from sleeping. And here we have, very subtle, but one of my favourites, the Snow Queen. I mean, isn't that beautiful?
It is very beautiful.
Very, very beautiful.
An interesting item here. What we've got is Hans Christian Andersen, but beautifully decorated by Edmund Dulac. Where do you want to place your estimation?
Looking in the records and seeing other ones that have sold, we're sort of thinking £200 to £300.
Okay, £200 to £300 seems to be about the going price, but what will Corrie, our dealer, think? Let's see what she puts down on the table.
So I'm going to put some money on the table and see how you feel about it.
Thank you.
I'm going to put 50, 100, and 50, 200. You've got 200 cash on the table there.
No, I think it's worth a little bit more.
I think it's worth a bit more.
I know you have to make...
I have to make a bit of a profit.
Yeah, your profit, yes.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I'm going to go on a bit more. Then we've got 220 on the table, and here comes David to help you.
Just before you make the decision, already our dealer, Corrie, has got £220 on the table, so she's in the ballpark. Now, it's a question of how lucky do you feel? Do you want to gamble at auction? Can you get that bit more at auction? This is a decision that you will have to make, but it's a nice quality item with a good provenance.
Do you feel like gambling?
you just cannot make it a little bit more then?
Well, if I was to put another 20 on the table, how would you feel? So if we made it, let's make it, we've got 240 on the table, and that is my final offer.
I've told our seller it's a bit of a gamble, but our dealer wants to buy it. She's put another £20 down. £240, William.
Yeah, that's really extremely good. As good for one in better condition than that one is.
OK, is it worth the gamble? What's our seller going to do? Let's find out.
How do you feel?
I think I'd like to go to auction, please.
Well, I have to agree with David. I think it could do a lot better at auction, and I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much again. Thank you.
£80 this lot, £80.
Corrie seemed to really like Ken's book. Will she regret not putting down that little bit extra? Let's find out with Ken and David over at the auction house.
Now, you've sat down with Corrie Jeffries. Now, Corrie is a smart lady and she knows a thing or two, and she offered you £240. Why did you turn down the 240 quid?
Did a little research, and on the internet they're going for a little bit more.
OK, it's here now. 250 is the reserve.
And I'm glad so, but I've got some interest in it. I'm straight in at £250. With me at 250, 260 now in the room, 260, 270, 280, 290, 310, 320, 330.
They like it.
330 with me, 340, 350 with me. 350 it is, £350.
And it's worth it.
360 in the doorway against commission, £360. Against the book at 360. Anybody else? I'm going to sell it then. 360 it goes.
The gavel has just gone down. I've just heard Ken say that's amazing. We knock off the commission, that leaves £306. Are you pleased?
I am very pleased.
Ken's delighted.
Very delighted.
The Duke's satisfied. Real deal.
Coming up, over at Henry's table, Paula's making an impression.
Not a lot. Not
But will Henry be tricked into paying up?
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal.
I can sniff a deal in the air over at
Becky.
Debbie's table.
Thanks for coming on the show. And you've brought with you this incredible little item. Tell me about
they
it.
call incense burner.
An incense burner.
Yeah, we're making the house nice smell.
So is this a family piece?
No, it's just the item that my husband liked it and he collected them.
I presume that the incense goes inside. So you
the
would
little wood.
So you would lift lift this off.
Burn there.
And right.
And then you covered it up, and there's the.
And it would smoke through the holes in the
Yeah.
lid. Right. Okay. Well, it's made of copper. I'm sure if one was to put some silver polish on here, these lettering, this Islamic, the Islamic lettering would come up. It's interesting, but it's not something I have ever bought before. But what I'd like to do is make you an offer and see how we get on. 20, 40 pounds. What do you think about that?
Not enough.
You're very definite about that. Let me see. So that's £50, and I think for me, I've got to where I want to be. Here's our David.
OK, there's £50 on the table, Betty. If we go to auction, can we get 60, 70, take away 15%? Can we get more? I suspect not. It's a gamble if you want to take it, but I think £50 is probably thereabouts its value.
What do you think, Betty?
What about £5 more?
I'm going to stick with 50.
I think I will accept.
So have we got a deal?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take it home, and before I consider moving it on, I'll have a go with using it as an incense burner and see how it works.
Yes.
And with the smell of success surrounding Debbie, let's join Henry and Paula to see if any of it's wafting their way.
So what have you brought in to show me today, then?
This is an etching by, I think I made the signature out, Kenneth Holmes.
Yeah, you're right, it is by Kenneth Holmes. And if I'm not mistaken, it's actually an engraving of the old shot tower in London. I would put it to probably 1850, maybe 1860. It's in really nice condition. How long have you had it?
I've had it about 35 years. I inherited it from an aunt.
Right.
Although I appreciate the skill of it, doesn't fit in my home.
No.
So it's always been under wraps at the back of the wardrobe.
Right, and hence your decision to get rid of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
decluttering age.
There we go. So, if I buy this from you, Paula, what do you think you're going to do with the money?
I'd probably take an aunt out. It's the sister of the aunt that I inherited it from.
Okay.
And she's in her 80s now, and take her out for lunch, perhaps.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
and why not? Okay, well, engravings and etchings are quite an acquired taste. I quite like this one. I like the fact it's London. I like the fact that it's the shot tower, it's the central focal point of the picture, and I particularly like that we've got the old barges going in there and St Paul's in the background up over there. Question is, what's it worth? I will make you an offer on it, and we'll see what we can do.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to offer you 10, 20 pounds. How does that seem to you?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. So I'm not making an impression so far, am I?
Not touching the surface.
Right, okay. Well, can I tempt you with 25? No. Are you sure?
Yes, that's an easy decision.
That's an easy decision, okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you one final offer.
Okay.
Okay. And then I think I'm going to be out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another one of those in and make it 35. But I think any more than that, and I think I'm not in the game.
Okay.
Have you ever been to auction?
I have. I've been to a couple.
So you'll know that it's a gamble.
Absolutely, and I think this time I might be in the mood for a gamble.
Fantastic. Well, Paula, thank you very much. I wish you all the very best.
So Paula's decided to take a gamble. Will she regret that decision? Let's find out over in the auction.
The reserve here in the sale room is 40. OK, it's coming up now.
The Kenneth Holmes etching, the view over the Thames, and I've got 1, 2, 3 bids on it. So I'm straight in here at £70. I'll take 75 in the room. With me at £70 for the etching. 75, 80, 5, 90, 5, 100, 110, 120. Still with me at 120. And £120 for the etching, 130.
130?
120 with me. 120. It's a left bid, 120. Anybody else? 120.
£120.
Fantastic.
OK, take away the commission. It's just over £100. A couple of quid over £100. Now, what's your reaction?
That would do really nicely.
On the day, real deal, £120. Good deal.
Back at the dealer's den, Bob's brought along a battered box. Let's lift the lid on it.
Is it a hat? Well, it's a hat box. So let's have a look. Marshall and Snellgrove, great shop, felt hat speciality. So I'm presuming when I open the box...
No.
Yeah, could you? That's all right. We're going to find inside a lovely little hat. A little proper Easter bonnet with spring flowers all the way round. But how come you got a hat like this?
Well, it came from my stepmother. She passed it on when she died in the late 70s. She obviously passed it through, it came to my father, because she had no children of her own. And I've had it ever since.
And luckily, you'd stored it beautifully. It's dry, no damage. Well, to me, this hat was made somewhere in the 1930s, between the war years, and it's for a girl, not a woman and not a child, somebody of 14 to 18, because it's just such a neat little hat. And it's got its little streamers, but it's beautifully decorated, so it's not a child, and it's made of fine straw with a velvet ribbon, and this is a strange sort of matting with little false flowers, and they're made of fabric, stiffened fabric. And here we have Marshall and Snellgrove, London. So it's labelled, matches the box, all in all, much of a muchness. And have you any idea as to how much you want for it?
I have, but I'm most probably being unrealistic, so...
Well, I'm going to put some money on the table.
OK.
And in the light that I do want to buy it, I'm going to make an effort to buy it.
OK.
I'm going to put 20... I'm going to put 25 on the table. That's not impressing you, I know.
No. Can you squeeze a bit more?
I knew you were going to say this. So I'm going to swap the 5. I've got 30. And that really is a good offer.
You couldn't squeeze the green one back on?
You mean the 35?
Yeah.
Are you going to allow me no profit at all? You're looking so hopeful.
Well...
Well, you did look after it, so I'll have to give you that for looking after it. So you've got 35 on the table. Do we have a deal?
We have a deal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Hats off to Corrie. Bob goes home a happy man and Corrie has some new headwear. After the break, something's got Henry's juices flowing.
Now, these are fantastic. I love them.
But will he be able to offer enough to tempt our seller?
I still think it's maybe worth gambling.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal. At Tim's table, Terry's looking for a big profit on his little find.
Hi, Terry. Hello. Nice to meet you. Now, you've bought in a little treen box. Can you tell me a little bit about how you acquired it?
Boot fair.
Oh, boot fair. Yeah. Do you buy the things because you like them, or do you buy them to sell them?
I keep certain bits, and in the winter I sell things off to just pay for general bills and help us through the winter.
It's not a bad idea, is it, really?
No, it helps.
So, yeah, I bet it does. So do you know anything about this?
No, I mean, I know it's sort of like Morcland ware is probably made in about the 1900s, that's all I know.
Well, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Obviously, Morcland is a place in Scotland. And it was almost like a cottage industry, this, when it started. And it was pretty much fuelled by Queen Victoria's love of Scotland. And when we look on here, it says the fiery cross. Like Heathbird, when the hawks pursue, a barge across Loch Katrine flew, high stood the henchman on the prow. And there he is, on the prow. It does have a little bit of a condition problem.
Just a slight one.
When you look at it there, it's just got a little crack showing. I think that was probably, it could have been used for most things really, maybe tobacco. I don't think it's a snuff box because that was quite, you know, that's a different shape. But, you know, maybe something to do with sewing or something like that. Price, so you've got a pretty good idea, haven't you then?
I've got an idea.
Being a budding car booter, stroke antiques dealer, £20, Terry. I bet you're showing a profit there, aren't you?
Slightly.
Slightly?
Not a lot.
But a profit's a profit, Terry.
Yeah, yeah.
£30, you're showing a better profit now.
More, I think.
£35, Terry.
I think it's worth a little bit more.
Tell me what you paid for it, Terry.
A lot less than that.
Tell me. You can tell me now, it doesn't matter.
All right. I paid 50 pence.
50 pence?
Yep.
Well, do you know what the first rule of an antique is?
I know what the first rule is. Take your first offer.
Your best...
I think I'll actually take that. I think you'll do all right.
I think I'll make a five.
Hopefully you make a bit more.
Well, you know, hope springs eternal. Have we got a deal?
Yep.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done, Terry. That's a great profit. Let's hope Tim can turn one too. Over to Henry's table where he's
Hello, I'm
hoping
Henry.
to squeeze out a deal for
Jackie, lovely to see you.
Satsumas.
Okay, well, let's have a little chat about these. What these are 19th century, okay?
Right.
And they're what's called Japanese Satsuma vases.
Right.
Now,
right.
these are fantastic. I love them.
Right.
Really finely painted and really finely gilded on the top. And these gilt work up here around the neck is just absolutely lovely. And with Oriental ceramics, condition on the whole is everything.
Right.
And I can't see a mark on them.
No.
They're almost brand new. And I notice here we've also got a lovely mark on there,
Yes.
which is an artist mark on the
Yeah.
bottom. Obviously, you've got no real idea of what you really want for them.
No.
So what we need to do is to have a go and make you an offer.
Right, okay.
And see what we can come up with. Okay. Let's start with one of these. 50. 100. 150. 200. 250. 300. How does £300 seem?
Yeah, I think they're worth more than that.
Oh, here's David. This is
Well,
gonna be
I've come in
expensive.
here because our independent valuers say 300 to 500. Auctioneer says 300 to 500. I say within that range, but it would not surprise me if they exceed it too. It is a bit of a gamble. Sometimes they don't always work out the way you want, but I have a feeling those are commercial enough to do the business.
Right,
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
I'm getting fairly close to where I reckon their value lies.
Right.
So we'll see if we can tempt you a little bit more. Another 50, that's 350. £370.
I still think it's maybe worth gambling.
Well, I'm going to see if I can tempt you a little bit more. So let's take that 20 back, and we'll put another one of those there, so that takes us to £400. The choice is yours.
No, I've decided I'm going to go to auction with them.
Okay, quite sure?
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank
Yeah,
you very much
thank
indeed.
you.
Lovely to see you.
So Jack has taken David's advice and gone to auction. Let's see if the Satsumas bear fruit.
You turned down 400 and I sympathise because we indicated we thought it was worth more at auction. Well, let's find out what the room says here.
For the Satsuma, 200 I bid, 210, 220, 230. 230 for that the Satsuma at 230. You're going to bidding, are you bidding no, 230 it is. At 230, 240 anyway. At £230, anybody else? 230.
Gavel's gone down at 230. It came to auction and it did not come to fruition on the day. I say to you, this is one of my mistakes. I should have said to you, get that 400 quid in your purse and get off home.
Okay.
Real deal was with our dealer Henry. Generous Henry, you should have bought it and we should have advised our seller to sell it to you.
Meanwhile, Siobhan and Dad Chris are hoping to charm Debbie into buying their beaded snake.
So Siobhan, is this something you brought in with Dad, or is it something that belongs to Dad and he's brought you?
It belongs to my dad and he brought me.
Actually, she was the one that found it.
I found it,
anyway,
but
so
you bought it.
Yeah. Oh, you found this item?
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell me where you found it.
A car boot sale.
A car boot sale? Were you there with your daughter at the time, Chris?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
So tell me what you know about it.
I think it's First World War.
Uh-huh. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, it was made in Cairo, in Egypt. And it was a souvenir for the soldiers that were serving out in Cairo. So.
Yeah. No, that's spot on, absolutely. Yeah. What I think's astonishing about them is the amount of work that it would have taken, you know, that's been taken to do all this beading. And it would have been hours and hours of work. Tell me, if you do sell it, either you sell it to me today or it goes to auction, is the money going towards anything?
My daughter's just taken up cycling, so I want to buy her a racing bike, so the money would go towards that.
Right, okay. As you can see, along here is the word Cairo, which is obviously, as Dad has mentioned, the city in which it would have been made. And I like the head very much. I like this colourful beadwork where you've got the green rims to the eyes and the red pupils and this nice black and yellow beading on the head, and that's in really good order. As you come down the body, however, there are intervals at which the beads are missing and they are virtually impossible to put back. So, who's going to say yes or no when I put the money down?
I think it'd be a joint.
It'll be a joint effort.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See how we go. £10.
No, I wouldn't accept £10.
No. Another 10.
No.
I'm going to have one more go. 25.
What do you think? No, 25 is too low to go. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, okay. I think.
So, guys, auction it is.
Yep.
Been to auction before? No, I think you'll have a good time. So, thanks so much. Okay, now put me out of my misery. What did you pay for it, the car boot?
We paid the princely sum of £8 for it.
No!
Yeah.
Chris has turned down a profit of £17. Join us after the break to see if his gamble will pay off.
Fine.
Also,
do you mind me asking, Claudina, how old you are then?
will Tim's cheekiness land him in trouble?
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal.
We're over at the auction room now, where Dad Chris and our David are hoping to add to Siobhan's bike fund.
Now, I'm right in thinking that this item, if it sells, it is going towards buying a bike for Siobhan, a racing bike.
Yeah.
So this is very, very important. The reserve is 25. I'm pretty sure it should sell at that and a bit more. It's coming up now. Let's see what happens. Right. Over there.
On the side. Yeah, there we go. Is it worth start being £20 for it? £10 to go, surely. 10, mid, 12, 14, 16.
Slow start, starting a bit low. It stopped at 15.
£16. Not quite enough. £16, all done. £16, I'm afraid it is. 16.
Okay. Gavel's gone down £15. It didn't make it. I see a little bit of a crestfallen look there. The real deal was with our dealer Debbie at 25. What I want to know, Siobhan, That racing bicycle, is she still getting it?
She's still going to get it, yeah.
Don't worry, girl. Dad says you're getting it. That's the real deal.
In our final deal of the day, Claudina and Denise are hoping that Tim will find the time to offer them a great deal.
Now, you've brought a watch in today. Can you tell me a little bit about how you acquired it?
When 1950, my husband won a lottery in Gibraltar. Well, it was only £3,000.
But in 1950, Claudina, that was a lot of money.
And we was going to get married, and like I said, he bought me this for a present, he bought me gold bracelet, and we got married.
He showered you in jewels and then he married you. He sounds like a good one. So, how can you bear to part with it then?
Because I don't wear it. My daughter wanted to give it to her. She doesn't wear any gold.
Well, you've picked the right time to sell it. Definitely picked the right time to sell it. So, I wonder what I paid for it 50 years ago.
Yeah, that's when I got married.
Gosh, so, do you mind me asking, Claudina, how old you are then? I know a gentleman shouldn't ask a lady's age.
I don't mind, 81.
81, well, you look very good for 81. So, let's have a look at this watch. So, it's 18 carat, Halcyon 17 jewels. Obviously, it's not as fashionable as Denise doesn't want it. You know, but there is quite a lot of gold in there. So we've calculated for taking out the works and that, and there's 29 grams of 18 carat gold. So have you got any idea, Claudina, how much that is going to be?
Well, I would like, quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
I need the money.
You need the money? So do I, so do I. Right, I've come prepared. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, £500. More?
Small.
550.
Just before you make a decision, Claudina, let me tell you what the independent valuers say. I can tell you we have weighed that before it came to the table. We've taken away the movement, and in scrap gold, prices today, as we are filming, there is £620 worth of scrap gold there. You have an offer of £550 from Tim. I'm going to recommend Tim because £70 I think is a reasonable margin of profit.
Got to be your decision, Claudina.
Yeah, okay then. You say you couldn't put a bit.
Well, look, I do like a small profit. I don't like a small profit, but I'm used to a small profit. If I put another £20 in there, I'll make myself £50.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
I think that's a fair price.
Yes.
So have we got a deal at 570 then?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you for bringing it along.
So Tim gets his small profit and lottery winner Claudina gets another windfall. Now let's see if any of that luck rubbed off on our dealers. Connie wasn't thinking with her head when she bought that hat. She's yet to find a buyer for it. After Henry battled so hard for the medals, he kept them.
I love my medals.
Debbie sold the incense burner at a trade fair for a sweet-smelling £20 profit. Tim hasn't found a buyer for the stamp box yet, but made a nice little £5 profit on a trinket box. He also clocked a £50 profit on Claudina's gold watch, making him our dealer of the day. Well done, Tim.
We've had a great day here in Leighton Buzzard. There's been lots of action, just the way we like it. Lots of buying, lots of selling. Don't forget to join me, David Dickinson, next time for Dickinson's Real Deal. Bye for now.